Hey there, welcome to Tuesday Nights with Dr. Bruce. It's Dr. Bruce. I just looked it up. I've been doing this for over 2.5 years, bringing you whatever's going on in my world. And it pops up on your feed somewhere, and then you guys share it. I do have something that had planned today. I looked at a video with my friend Jeremiah, and we've kind of done the Mystery Science Theater 3000, and we talk about the video. But a lot of it's just been really good. It's kind of a reaction video. I've been watching a lot of those lately and realized this would be a lot of fun. It's a great way to impart some wisdom. It's also a great way to chop it up. Have you ever noticed that people will get into a video that's really interesting, it's really good, it's got all the didactics, and whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like, I don't know, man, this is kind of boring and it really gets dull. So we're doing that where we get to stop it and then talk about it and explain some of the things that are being described by some of these very brilliant men. So we had a great time with that, and I'll show it to you sometime later. I do have a story to tell you. You guys like to know how Mom's doing, so I'm going to tell you how Mom's doing. I just talked with her. I just hung up before I went live here, and I got to tell you, amazing. Your prayers are unbelievably important. Today she went shopping, which is awesome. She also helped my sister Helen, who has an amazing amount of artistic talent. She just does. She always has since we were real little. She was the one that always wrapped the presents. She was the one that always did. She had hands. She could draw. Anyway, but so Helen and Mom went to build wreaths today. This is very good. Mom is getting out of the house. She's still trying to walk. She actually went to the grocery store and did that. She is going to bingo. If you remember, she's worked for the Catholic Church for 45 years plus, 50 years maybe. Anyway, she's been doing that and that particular church since 77. So is that 42 years, right? So anyway, I got to tell you a story about this. So we have a renter. She has a renter in the house she actually grew up in. She still owns the house that her parents took her to when she was like 5. She's 79. She rents that house out, and that guy has had an amputated leg and a false leg, whatever the orthotic that he has there, or that orthopedic thing that they do there. So anyway, he has that on one side. And then on the other side, his diabetes got bad enough to where he had to have his other leg amputated above the knee. And so he has a false leg for that too, right? But this guy is brilliant. He works really hard and all of that. And Mom decides, well, we're going to put in a ramp. So his wife, Anne, remember Mom owns the house. Anne says, hey, we can put in this ramp. We can do this thing. It's going to happen. So Mom goes to the city and she says, okay, I want to be able to do this. I want to build this for them. They're great renters. They're wonderful people. We're obviously going to keep them. Let's help them. Let's build a ramp. So she goes to build this ramp. And the city loses her whatever. Can't find a sign in. There's a lot of things that go weird there. Can't remember her password. When she gets back to it, it's all lost. She's got to start all over again. So she calls Helen, my sister, for help. Helen's one of those other brilliant ladies in my life, and she happened to be working at the church. She does work at the same church Mom has. So she was working at St. Agnes Cathedral. And Mom's like, Helen's like, well, I tell you what, I can help you, but let me go ahead and take this new parishioner that I'm signing in. Let me solve that with them. Let me get them in. So she starts to talk, hangs up with Mom and says, that's my mom. She's doing something like that. Okay, so now what is it that you do? I work for the city of Springfield. Beg pardon? They live in Springfield, Missouri. I work for the city of Springfield. I'm a building inspector. Yeah. Do you happen to, do permits or anything like that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, all the time. 30 seconds later, Mom gets this phone call. Go for it. We've got a permit. It's not a problem. It's all done. So you figure out the percentages of that happening, right? Right in front of my sister, who my mom calls for help, is the person who can sign a permit for that. So they get that done, and it worked. Now, they didn't get it done in time. This is how brave some people really are, and it's a big blessing that I can just tell you. But this is how brave some people are. This wonderful man comes home with after surgery, right? He's finished up with as much rehab as they can give him. And he has to crawl up the steps because he comes home on Friday and the ramp is finished on Saturday where he can get his wheelchair up it. So he just does. He gets down on his hands and knees and he crawls up the steps to get inside of his house. And you know what? No matter how weird my day is today, I'm just going to tell you that it's great. It's fantastic. There's nothing wrong with me. Both legs work fantastic. I got to run today. I'm an athlete. I get to go do that crazy stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, I feel very blessed right now. And so Mom is doing very well. Thank you for your continued prayers. Love you guys a lot for doing that. Well, she's doing the best that she can. You know, she only had one bad day last week. The chiropractor that I set her up with in Springfield, Fitzsimmons, they call him Dr. Fitz. He was stopping by her house and adjusting her. Now she's feeling good enough where she can go to him, and he's really taking good care of her. So I'm just going to tell you right now, it's been a big blessing, and they're truly wonderful. And so she's doing great. I know that's a big part of my life right now, and I just want to let you know that. The other thing that I put here, I don't know if you can see it below, or maybe it's on the side, I don't know where it is, but some days are just tall grade school. So I got to tell you what my day's like. You know, I'm working with all of these people who create this space of stem cells, exosomes, PRP, all of that good stuff, right? All the Whartons Jelly products, regenerative medicine. And that's been going really, really well. Really until today, where I've got this huge event happening today to set up this research board. And we've got six different studies going in front of the board today. Tonight, actually, is when it's finished up. It'll be finished up in about 30 minutes. And so really important stuff for that. And one of the vendors decides, actually in the beginning, it was one of my partners in the review board said that somebody else said something bad about him, and I'm sorry, but I'm just not going to deal with that guy anymore. And I'm like, really? Why don't you ask that guy? You know, if somebody says, you know, somebody kicks puppies, you might want to go ask the guy, hey, are you kicking puppies? Is that a thing for you? Because, you know, that seems weird. And you would get the full answer, or at least an answer. So without anybody looking at anything, I wind up getting all of that. Yeah, it's good. Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, you give her a call, man. She liked hearing from you. She talked about that. But I tell you what, what's great is that I wound up getting to hear one side of this. Hey, you know, I don't make friends. They're geniuses. And I don't know if you work with a lot of geniuses in your life, but if you do, these geniuses are very feely. They have a lot of emotion. They have all the feels. And instead of going, you know what, I'm going to call that guy and figure out what it is, you know, what's really being said there, other things happen. Well, then it happens where somebody else looks at somebody else's website. That feels like a personal attack, and all of that emotion comes forward. I have to tell you, it feels like tall grade school. You know, I really do think that we need to start working together. I think I talked to you last time and told you about the Harvard Stem Cell Institute. $2.5 billion have been put into stem cells research and regenerative research just in the last quarter. 1,000 different MDs and PhDs are working on these things. There's all kind. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? We have people that are already creating a very good, very strong, sought-after product, and they're infighting. And all I can think of is, no, this is how the band breaks up, you know? As soon as one of the monkeys starts thinking they need to have a little more artistic license with what they sing, you're going to lose the monkeys. And so that's been my day-to-day. But it's not been bad. It really hasn't. And really soon, I get a chance to go out and take my camping trip. I take a camping trip every year. So I had it actually set up behind me. I had to move the ping pong table and all that stuff. I had the tent set up behind me. It was at Costco, $512 on sale for like $270. And I'm thinking, yeah, I need one of these. And it says dark room tent. And it had something on there, you know, 10 people or something like that. And I'm thinking, you know what? I've seen all kinds of tents. I've never seen one that would fit 10 people in it unless they really, really liked each other, maybe sharing a sleeping bag. And I was like, I'm not so sure, right? So when I set it up down here, I almost didn't have enough room. I have a big basement. It goes on a ways that way for a while. And I almost didn't have enough room. I had no clue how big this thing was. It's like 15 by 20. It's enormous. So anyway, I think maybe 10 people, at least 6 very comfortably, don't even have to like each other kind of people, but 8 very, very likely with all of their gear, 6 with every bit of gear they want to carry. So I'm looking forward to putting it up. I get to do that pretty soon here as I get on my little camping trip. So I'm looking forward to it. So at some point in time, it's gonna work out really well. And I do want to kind of address that. You know what? It is competition, and I love that, but there's some things that we have to do to protect the space. What you don't want to do, in my opinion, is if I'm a 7 on a scale from 1 to 10 at pickleball, okay? I like this game. It's a lot of fun, right? So if I'm a 7 on a scale from 1 to 10, and somebody's a 7.4, I don't want to be telling everybody that he's a 4.5 just because it makes me feel better about myself. I just don't want to be doing that. You know, that's almost like it makes pickleball look bad, because as soon as they figure out that I'm lying, then it's going to make everybody look bad, you know? And that's what I don't like. You know, there's a lot of this infighting and backstabbing that we just need to remove from this. You know, if you could see the guy that graduated yesterday from our program, this beautiful man is, I don't know how old he is, he's mid-70s, maybe a little older. And he was explaining how it was unbelievable how he could bend, and he was showing everybody, and how he could pick up grandkids, and he was in tears. I mean, it was, you know, this is the best thing that I've done for myself in the last 30 years. And to hear all of that, and then hear the infighting that happens out there. And I'm going to tell you, one of my friends, Dr. Brianna, is on here. Hell of a good chiropractor, by the way. If you're not friends with her, friend her. She's a good lady. But I'm going to tell you, hell of a good chiropractor. But you know what? Even when we were talking and getting to meet, we would talk about people at a certain consulting group. There'd be a bunch of infighting. I just like, is it all tall grade school? You know, he doesn't like me. I don't think he likes me. Oh, yeah, well, you should have heard what she said. I don't know, man. Anyway, that was my day today. But I did get through it. I got some people talking to each other. Hopefully that will develop into the good relationship that we need, because in all honesty, I have a research board. It's very, very important. So all of these people out there that are doing this regenerative medicine are going to have to start putting data back so that the FDA can regulate it. Well, if this is how you do it, guys, we're the only ones doing this. It's a huge, huge thing. We're going to be able to really help this industry and move it forward. That's why I didn't want to hear the he said, she said, but it was quite the day. Hi, Michelle. Naira Michelle. I know her as Michelle. But anyway, I got to tell you, Mom's doing great. It was good to hear her making a wreath today. It was good that she went to the store today. She was in good spirits. She has great stories, man. My mom's got great stories, you know. She has these very specific people who build stuff for the church, and she's very proud of them because they engineer and then they over-engineer, and so they're really solid. And there was a thing that they built on the front, they call it the porch, but whatever, on the church there, and some BMW was flying down the street and crashed into that thing, and I kid you not, they buffed it out and then picked up pieces of BMW for about a quarter of a mile. That thing was engineered to take, well, evidently the strike of a BMW going way too fast. So yeah, I don't know why it was on the front steps of a church either. So I'm just going to say probably not where they meant to aim it. But anyway, they're also building new things. So it was great to hear from Mom. She was in great spirits. And good to hear from my sister in the background too. So all of you that are praying for her, whatever you're saying is working, please continue doing that. It really makes a big difference to me. And I'm going to go get out and get into the cold and build great big fires, and I'll let you know how that goes. In the meantime, keep your prayers up for Mom. It's really helping. Keep your prayers going for me. I'm having to juggle stuff that I never thought I would have to juggle. None of this is a paid gig yet. So I'm just letting you know that I'm setting myself in good position to be able to really help this industry. But at the moment, I seem to be putting out some fires. So yeah, anyway, I'll just keep doing that till I get it done. Thanks for listening. Thanks for carrying along with this journey, going with on this journey with me. Thank you to all of my staff that's doing amazing stuff right now. If you knew what we were trying to develop, not trying, what we are developing, but we're in the throes of it. To develop this thing, I think you'd be impressed. You know, a lot of people working on it. It's always fun when you employ 25 people and they all have the same mission, and it's my vision. So I'm excited about it. They're awesome people. They just really are. All right, so I will see you next Tuesday. And in the meantime, be an example of what's possible.